Don't do it to become like a star. Do it because with all of your heart, that's what you want to do.
For 5 decades, Olivia Hussey kept a painful secret about Romeo and Juliet. The movie made her famous at 15. It also forced her into a nude scene she never wanted. The director promised full privacy, but on shooting day, he demanded full nudity instead. After years of staying quiet, the actress who played Juliet finally found her voice. In 2022, she sued Paramount for $500 million. The lawsuit shocked Hollywood and exposed the reality behind one of the most famous movies. Olivia Hussey was born in Buenos Aires on April 17, 1951. Her parents almost named her Victoria, but that changed when they saw a poster for the heiress with Olivia de Havilland. That name stuck. Her father, Andrés Osuna, was a well-known tango and opera singer. He used the stage name Osvaldo Ribot. Her mother, Joy Hussey, was an English legal secretary. Olivia grew up in a Catholic home with candles always lit for prayer. But when she was only 2, her parents separated. That moment changed her path forever. At age 6, Olivia left Argentina with her mother and younger brother. Her father stayed behind. She didn't even know his stage name until years later. A stranger in an elevator told her she looked like a famous tango singer. It was her father. Though their relationship faded with distance, the artistic spark remained. When Olivia became famous after Romeo and Juliet, Argentina invited her back. On live TV, her grandmother, whom she barely knew, walked out to embrace her. The daughter of a singer had become a star herself. In 1958, when Olivia was 7, her mother made a brave choice. She packed their bags and moved them to London. They knew almost no one there. Joy worked at the Argentine embassy as a secretary. It was tough. They missed family. They struggled with money. But Joy believed in Olivia's dream. At just 8, Olivia said she wanted to be an actress. She used to walk around Buenos Aires with a towel on her head, pretending to be a nun. So her mother looked up the best acting schools in London. She found the Italia Conti Academy. Olivia was taken to meet the founder, Miss Italia Conti herself. The little girl made a bold promise. "One day I'm going to be on your writing paper." Miss Conti agreed to take her in, even though they couldn't afford the fees. Olivia trained there for 5 years. She learned ballet, singing, acting. She started getting walk-on roles and modeling jobs to help pay tuition. By age 13, she was acting on stage and using her mother's maiden name, Hussey. Olivia Osuna became Olivia Hussey. Her first TV role came in 1964 when she was just 13. It was a small part in a show called Drama. A year later, she got roles in 2 films, Cup Fever and The Battle of the Villa Fiorita. In the second one, she acted alongside Maureen O'Hara and Rossano Brazzi. She played Donna. Around the same time, she joined a play in the West End, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. Vanessa Redgrave starred in it. Olivia played a schoolgirl. That role changed her life. Franco Zeffirelli saw her in that play. He was searching for his Juliet. He had already auditioned hundreds of girls. Olivia hadn't even gotten dialogue yet at the Old Vic. But Redgrave saw something in her. Before she left to film Camelot, she told Olivia, "This will happen for you too." Zeffirelli came back to watch her again and sent her to work with a voice coach. Then he gave her a second audition. There were over 800 girls auditioning in London alone. They all had to wear the same white dress with gold trim. Olivia didn't quite fit it. "I was well endowed for 15, she said, so the dress never sat right. Still, she stood out. Most of the girls were blonde and blue-eyed. Olivia wasn't, but she had something. Paramount got involved. What started as a small TV special became a full movie. Zeffirelli wasn't convinced at first. In his book, he said, Olivia looked clumsy and bit her nails. But when he looked again, he changed his mind. He parted her hair down the middle to show off her perfectly symmetrical face. She hated it. He told her, "Trust me." She also thought Juliet should be blonde. He snapped, "You understand nothing." That sealed it. She was Juliet. Before her big audition, she practiced the potion scene, the one where Juliet drinks the sleeping drug. She learned it in just 1 hour. She performed it in the dressing room. Everyone stopped and stared. They didn't say a word. That's when she knew she had something. Her chemistry with Leonard Whiting, who played Romeo, was instant. Zeffirelli paired them from day one. They only auditioned with each other. Strangely, they had worked across the street from each other years before. Leonard was in Oliver, while Olivia was at Wyndham's Theatre. When asked about their first impressions, they teased each other in interviews. Zeffirelli coached them closely, especially during the balcony scene. He told them, "Look at each other with passion." They were just teenagers. Olivia was 15, Leonard 17. But together, they created one of the most unforgettable love stories ever filmed. Filming Romeo and Juliet began in June 1967. The production moved constantly. Tuscania, Pienza, Gubbio, Artena, before finishing at Cinecittà Studios in Rome. The famous balcony scene was shot at the 16th century Palazzo Borghese in September. That scene alone took almost a week. Hussey struggled with mood swings. Zeffirelli became a father figure to her. She called him Daddy and said no one else could match his vision. But the cameras made a clicking noise. Every tuck-tuck ruined the sound. So after filming, Hussey had to re-record most of her dialogue in isolation. She said only 3 or 4 lines from the original balcony scene remained. Before filming, Zeffirelli made her visit a doctor. He prescribed diet pills. They made her sick. Her weight dropped to 100 pounds. She was not allowed to go above that. She hated the revealing costumes. When she complained, Zeffirelli mocked her, calling her boobsomina through a megaphone on set. She said it humiliated her, but also broke down her embarrassment. She convinced herself it was clever. He made her feel like it was part of his genius. The Capulet Ball was one of the hardest scenes to shoot. Zeffirelli used a dance called the Moresca, a fast and twisting Italian dance from the 1590s. He wanted it to feel real, like falling in love for the first time. He zoomed in on their faces. He wanted viewers to see real reactions. Later came the most delicate scene of all, the nude bedroom shot. First, the director Franco Zeffirelli promised them protection. He said they would wear flesh-colored undergarments during the bedroom scene. It was scheduled for the final days of shooting, after months of filming had already built trust. The young actors believed him. They were new, excited, and willing to do what it took, as long as they felt safe. But on the morning of the shoot, everything changed. According to court documents, Zeffirelli suddenly told them there would be no undergarments, just body makeup. He assured them the camera angles would hide everything. But then he changed his tone. He allegedly said they had to be nude or the film would fail. He told them millions were on the line. If they didn't do it, they might never work again. At the London premiere, Hussey sat behind the Queen, Prince Charles, and Prince Philip. That was when she realized her nipples were visible. She had no idea. The actors say they never agreed to this. They say they were trapped. The scene was shot at the very end of production, with the weight of the entire film behind it. Millions had already been spent. Saying no wasn't really an option anymore. Somehow, when the movie was released, it was a massive hit. It earned $38.9 million at the box office. That's hundreds of millions today. Crowds loved it. Critics loved it. The Academy gave it 4 nominations and 2 Oscars for Best Cinematography and Best Costume Design. In Italy, it won 5 Silver Ribbon Awards. Olivia won a Golden Globe and a David Di Donatello Award. At 16, she became a star all over the world. But fame came too fast. She wasn't ready. She had already struggled with anxiety, even before the cameras rolled. After the film came out, everything exploded. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. Reporters camped outside for weeks. Fans didn't stop. Olivia felt smothered. She called it unbearable. She said her serious face wasn't a pose. It was fear. She didn't want that kind of attention. She didn't know how to escape it. And yet, she could have been even bigger. In 1967, before the movie was even released, she met Hollywood producer Hal B. Wallace. He offered her 2 huge roles. One was Anne Boleyn in Anne of the Thousand Days. The other was Maddie Ross in True Grit, opposite John Wayne. Olivia turned them both down. She said she didn't like John Wayne's acting. She said it straight to Wallace's face. And just like that, he pulled both offers. The roles went to other actresses. Genevieve Bujold was nominated for an Oscar. Kim Darby co-starred with Wayne. Olivia never got another shot like that. As the years went on, her anxiety grew worse. In the late 1970s, her agoraphobia took over. Crowds terrified her. Even open spaces became too much. Her fame, the very thing she had once dreamed of, had become her prison. She stayed home. She missed auditions. She struggled to keep working. In interviews, she said she didn't know how to say no to bad people, and yes to good ones. Her heart always led her, but it didn't always lead her to the right places. During this time, she met Christopher Jones. He was older, charming, and intense. At first, it felt like love, but by 1969, that illusion had shattered. The relationship turned violent. Jones once punched her in the stomach during a fight. She was only 18 and didn't walk away. "I was young, and I loved him," she later said. "I was very loyal." That loyalty nearly destroyed her. Jones had a temper that scared even those close to him. But Olivia stayed, trapped in a cycle of fear and emotional control. After they broke up, things got worse. Late in 1969, Jones tracked her down. He found her at the house on 10,050 Cielo Drive, the same house where Sharon Tate had been murdered just weeks earlier. What happened next was pure horror. Olivia said his eyes glazed over, and then he attacked. He beat her until her face swelled up like a balloon. Her lip split, her eye turned black, her nose bled. Then, in that cursed house, he physically abused her. She thought he might kill her. That moment scarred her forever. And what made it even darker was the location. Just weeks earlier, the same house had been the site of one of Hollywood's most infamous killings. Sharon Tate was 26, 8 months pregnant, and brutally murdered with 4 others by the Manson family. Olivia had spoken to Sharon not long before it happened. Sharon had told her, "I'm so looking forward to meeting you. My baby is coming soon." They were supposed to become friends. Rudy, Olivia's agent, owned that house. He had offered Olivia the guest house so she could help Sharon with her baby. But then came August 9th, 1969. "They're all dead," Rudy told her. It was terrible. The murder shook Olivia to the core. Still, 5 weeks later, she moved into the house. She felt Sharon's peaceful presence there. She kept an orange scarf Sharon had left behind. She put it on her prayer table and never let it go. But the worst pain wasn't over. Weeks after the assault, Olivia realized she was pregnant with Christopher Jones's child. She was barely out of her teens, haunted by trauma, living in a house filled with death. She made the most heartbreaking choice of her life. "I decided I could not have the baby," she wrote in her memoir, The Girl on the Balcony. "It broke my heart, although I have never regretted it." She was dealing with fame she didn't ask for, memories she couldn't escape, and decisions that no teenager should have to make. That chapter nearly broke her, but she survived it. And years later, she told the world everything. Dean Paul Martin made a bold prediction after watching Romeo and Juliet in 1968. Olivia Hussey was just 17, and he said out loud, "I'm going to marry her someday." Most people would have laughed, but he meant it. His first shot failed when she turned him down in Britain. But fate had other plans. Olivia later moved to California, and this time, when they met again, things clicked. Dean Paul pulled off grand gestures, like casually bringing the Bee Gees over for dinner while Olivia was still in her pajamas. On April 17, 1971, her birthday, they got married in Las Vegas. He was a musician, a tennis player who once competed at Wimbledon, and a fighter pilot. She was already a global star. Together, they looked like a perfect Hollywood couple. 2 years later, on February 12, 1973, Olivia gave birth to their son, Alexander. She was just 22. The birth changed everything. She became more selective with her roles, especially since she was now trying to grow past her iconic role as Juliet. Around that time, she was filming Lost Horizon and preparing to play the Virgin Mary in Jesus of Nazareth. Being a mother in real life gave new meaning to that role. Alexander later became an actor too. He appeared in Can't Hardly Wait in 1998 and Josie and the Pussycats in 2001. Even decades later, they remained close. When Alex got married in 2022, Olivia proudly posted the photo online, welcoming her new daughter-in-law with joy. But behind the scenes, her marriage with Dean Paul was starting to fall apart. After 7 years, they divorced on September 14, 1978. The split was quiet, rare for Hollywood. Insiders said Dean Paul never settled on a single path. He jumped from music to acting to aviation. Even his father once said he just doesn't know what he wants to be. Still, Olivia and Dean Paul stayed friendly for their son's sake. Then, in 1987, tragedy struck. Dean Paul was flying an F-4 Phantom jet when it crashed into the snowy San Bernardino Mountains. He was only 35. They believed poor weather and vertigo caused the crash. The jet dropped nearly 4,000 feet before slamming into the ground. Olivia was devastated. Life moved forward. On February 18, 1980, she married again, this time to Japanese singer Akira Fuse. He was a superstar in Japan with songs like Cyclamen, no Kahori, and Kimi wa Bara Yori Utsukushi. In January 1983, Olivia gave birth to their son, Maximilian, once again exactly 10 years after her first child. But Max lived a quieter life. Olivia sometimes shared posts about him, like in 2017 when she wrote, "He is a shining light in my life." But even with the love they shared, the cultural and distance gap became too much. Fuse couldn't build his career in the United States, and Olivia couldn't move to Japan, especially with Alexander rooted in America. In 1989, they divorced. Then came David Glenn Isley. In 1991, Olivia found the stability she'd long searched for. He was the son of actor Anthony Isley and a musician in his own right. They had a daughter together, India Joy Isley, born on October 29, 1993, 10 years after Max. India followed her mother's path into acting. In 2005, she debuted with Olivia in Headspace. Then, in 2015, they acted in Social Suicide alongside Leonard Whiting, Olivia's Romeo from 1968. India played their fictional daughter. It felt like everything had come full circle. Meanwhile, David became known for co-writing Sweet Victory, the iconic power ballad used in SpongeBob SquarePants. Olivia and David stayed married for over 30 years. Through heartbreak, motherhood, and 3 different love stories, this one endured. When Olivia Hussey took the role of Jess Bradford in Black Christmas back in 1974, no one expected it to shake the horror world. The film had a tiny budget, just $686,000, but pulled in over $4 million globally. It wasn't just the money, it was what her role represented. Jess wasn't the usual horror victim. She was strong, vulnerable, and controversial. A young woman dealing with an unwanted pregnancy just a year after Roe v. Wade. Hussey's performance helped invent the final girl as we know it. Years later, Halloween took clear inspiration from that film. Critics were divided at first, but over time, Black Christmas became legendary. Today, it ranks among the greatest slashers of all time. And Jess Bradford? She's remembered as the best final girl in horror history. Just 3 years later, Olivia reunited with the man who gave her global fame, Franco Zeffirelli. This time, she wasn't Juliet, she was Mary, mother of Jesus. In the 1977 miniseries Jesus of Nazareth, she was only 25. The cast was stacked: Robert Powell, Laurence Olivier, Anthony Quinn, Anne Bancroft. And yet, Hussey stood out. She shifted from youthful passion to sacred calm, from Shakespeare to scripture. She gave Mary depth and soul despite her young age. Her performance helped the series become one of the most respected portrayals of the Nativity ever filmed. The next year, she was in Egypt, not for a pilgrimage, but for Death on the Nile, the Agatha Christie classic turned film. She played Rosalie Otterborn in a massive ensemble. Bette Davis, Angela Lansbury, Maggie Smith, David Niven. Shot at the Great Pyramids, Abu Simbel, Karnak. The budget was around $8 million. It earned $18 million and won the Oscar for Best Costume Design. Olivia's role wasn't the biggest, but she held her own. 1 minute, she was a horror icon. The next, she was standing next to legends in a murder mystery epic. Then came a darker, deeper role. In 1990, she played Norma Bates in Psycho 4: The Beginning. The film gave a face to the woman behind one of cinema's most disturbing killers. Until then, Norma was just a shadow. But Olivia made her real, abusive, manipulative, yet strangely broken. She acted opposite Anthony Perkins and Henry Thomas, diving into twisted family trauma. That same year, she joined the world of Stephen King, playing Audra Denbrough in the TV adaptation of It. Her screen time was brief, but her presence brought a calm intensity that grounded the chaos of Pennywise. Outside of live action, she found a second life in voice acting. Starting in 1998 with Star Wars Rogue Squadron, she voiced Casan Moore, a rebel pilot. She stuck with the Star Wars universe for over a decade, voicing roles in Force Commander and later as Jedi Master Yuan Par in The Old Republic in 2011. She also played Talia al Ghul in both Superman, the animated series, and Batman Beyond. Her voice had weight, grace, danger, and it got noticed, earning her an Annie Award nomination for voice acting. Behind all these roles was a quiet, constant thread: faith. Her mother was a devout Catholic who kept a candle burning at all times. That shaped Olivia's spiritual life. When she visited Calcutta to prepare for her role as Mother Teresa, she saw things that changed her forever. Poverty that crushed your chest, joy that lived in nothing. She once said, "There are more unhappy people in Beverly Hills than the slums of Sri Lanka." Her home in California looked like a chapel. Her mornings started with prayer. Her work became spiritual too, not just artistic. For 20 years, one dream kept pulling her forward. She wanted to play Mother Teresa. She told every interviewer. She begged Zeffirelli. Even Jackie Kennedy Onassis once told the real Mother Teresa, "Only Olivia Hussey can play you." That version never got made, but in 2003, it finally happened. Directed by Fabrizio Costa, filmed in Sri Lanka and Italy, Mother Teresa became real. She was sick while filming, 7 antibiotics a day, but she didn't stop. She said she'd been preparing for that role her entire life. Her performance earned her a Character and Morality in Entertainment Award in 2007. Then came the hardest role of all. In 2008, at age 57, Olivia was diagnosed with breast cancer. Treatment seemed to work. She went into remission. For 10 years, things were okay, but in 2018, it came back. Worse. Through it all, she leaned on her faith. "I'm in God's hands," she would say. "Whatever's meant to be." She still worked, still prayed, still voiced characters in games, but her choices became fewer and more meaningful. Roles with soul. Projects that said something. She didn't chase fame anymore. She was at peace, even while fighting for her life. In the final hours of 2022, something explosive hit Hollywood. Olivia Hussey and Leonard Whiting, the stars of the 1968 film Romeo and Juliet, filed a $500 million lawsuit against Paramount Pictures. It wasn't just any lawsuit. It came exactly one day before California's extended deadline for child abuse claims expired. And the claim? That the studio had exploited them when they were just teenagers. Olivia was 15. Leonard was 16. Both were asked to appear nude in a now famous bedroom scene. The director, Franco Zeffirelli, who died in 2019, had reportedly promised they would wear flesh-colored garments. But on the day of filming, everything changed. He told them they had to go nude, just body makeup, or else the film and their careers would suffer. They felt trapped. They believed they had no choice. The movie went on to win awards and make millions. But behind the scenes, the two young stars carried emotional scars for decades. Their legal team built the case around child protection laws. Attorney Solomon Grayson argued that nudity involving minors was illegal, no matter the artistic intent. He said that even the studio's knowledge of their age at the time was enough to prove wrongdoing. Their lawyers rejected any notion that the First Amendment could shield such content. In court filings, Hussey and Whiting were described as naive teens who didn't know how to process what was done to them and how fame had hidden the harm. When asked why they waited 55 years to come forward, their business manager said they feared no one would believe them back then, and the backlash could destroy their careers. But just a few months later, on May 25, 2023, the case was thrown out. Judge Allison McKenzie dismissed it completely. She said it violated California's anti-SLAPP law, which protects free speech from lawsuits designed to silence it. Her ruling was sharp. She said the film wasn't pornographic, and the nude scene wasn't illegal under current law. According to her, the plaintiffs failed to show that the movie contained anything sufficiently sexually suggestive. She even pointed out that they hadn't included a required certificate from a licensed mental health expert, something necessary for claims like theirs. The court accused them of cherry-picking laws without considering how those laws applied to classic films. Their $500 million lawsuit was dead. But the fight wasn't over. In February 2024, Hussey and Whiting launched a second lawsuit. This time, they focused on the film's re-release through the Criterion Collection in 2023. The angle was new. They claimed the new release was an act of revenge porn. Their lawyers said that every time Paramount distributed the movie again, it was another violation, another blow to their dignity. He said this wasn't about what happened in 1968 anymore. It was about what was still happening now. The lawsuit demanded an immediate stop to all versions of the movie showing the nude scene and asked for damages linked to ongoing trauma. Experts were divided. Some said it was a clever way to get around the old deadlines. Others worried it could change how courts look at nudity in historic films. Olivia Hussey knew she might not live to see how it ended. In October 2024, she gave her last public interview. Just 2 months later, she died of breast cancer at age 73. In that final conversation, she reflected deeply. She admitted that for years she told herself the scene was artistic and not harmful. That was how she coped. But as the years passed and the Me Too movement spread, she started to see things differently. She spoke about the imbalance between a teenage girl and a powerful director more than 45 years her senior. Her tone was quiet but firm. She didn't want revenge. She wanted protection for the next generation. "I may not get justice in my lifetime," she said, "but maybe the industry will finally do better." After her death, Leonard Whiting shared a heartfelt message. "Rest now, my beautiful Juliet. No injustices can hurt you now, and the world will remember your beauty inside and out forever."